Right, good morning, team. You might remember from the last episode, we did not very much of what we said we were going to do, and a few things we didn't know we were going to do. And today I thought we would follow up on that. Instead, we're going to do something slightly different. Is adjacent to two blocks of land worked by my great-great-grandfather, one of which he leased and the other which he a few years later bought outright. The land just across the road and up a bit he leased in 1848 in partnership with his brother. On that block of land there were two little cottages. We always assumed he built them, seeing he was a competent builder. Later, just recently, we've come to believe that there was a school also on this block, so perhaps he just occupied the little school that was there. This block across the road he purchased outright for himself. Some years later, this is another view of the leased block. I did at one time try and find the present owner to knock on his door to see if I could actually have a walk around on it to find the cottages. He wasn't home at the time. This is another view of the block he purchased. The house wasn't there at the time. That was built after he sold it. Now this. So here we are, just coming into Forreston. Forreston would have provided most of the needed services. In its day it had the necessary butchers and bakers, and even had a couple of saddle makers. This was the home of my great-great-grandfather. The house, I suspect, has been built onto. The stone building on the left is the barn, as it would have been. The road you see in front is not their driveway. That was the original road. It's since been realigned. We're now at the location of the Forreston CFS. This is also the location of the Robert Burns Inn. This would have been significant to my great-great-grandfather. He was on the Toolunga District Council. My great-great-grandfather's name was James. He had a brother called Peter. From this same location you can see the 79 acres Peter leased. Across the back fence, also from this exact same location, you can see the properties of Luke, James's other brother. Peter's property. He had a slab hut that no longer exists. Even the stone shed to be seen would be after his time. Okay, we're here in the Mount Crawford Forest. This is the Lone Pine campground. It is here that Luke had his house. This, I suppose, is the remains of the Lone Pine. I spent considerable time walking around this area, and there are no signs of a house or hut now, but forestry records recall a little miner's hut in this area. I suspect that was actually the remains of Luke's house. Just here is what I suspect is the remains of the well. But that's the only infrastructure I can find. On other walks I've done through this bushlands, I did find diggings, but they would have been after Luke's time. It's difficult to know if Luke cleared this block or he kept it natural. But there are certainly still some substantial trees here. This is where my great-great-grandfather, his two brothers, his two sisters and his father all moved in 1841. Last time I was along this way, there was a stone ruin just further down along this fence line. I can't see any sign of it now, but nevertheless, this is where it was, and this would have been their farm. So just to get my great-great-grandfather's timeline in order, they arrived on the ship Mary Dugdale in 1840. They moved here in 1841. My great-great-grandfather then had farms here, Forreston, Cullington, Forreston again, near Minto, Steelton. After arriving here in 1840, he died in Steelton in 1902. We will end this video here. It was a pure indulgence. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you next time.